2. Printing products. Some products have special requirements. Please check the following sections for some common product requirements. 2.1. Telescopic box. A telescopic box is a box type used in most games. You only get one chance to make first impression, and in tabletop games, the first impression starts with the box. 2.1.1. Ensure your components fit. The box should be at least 15 mm larger in each dimension than the largest component to ensure these can be easily removed, and needs to be large enough to contain all the components. A LongPack project manager can assist you determine a perfect size for your box. E.g., if your game box is 200 mm by 250 mm, the maximum size of any components inside the box would be 185 mm by 235 mm. This size would apply to folded game boards, rules booklets or sheets, punch boards, cardboards, mats, etc. 2.1.2. 3 mm bleed plus 17 mm wrap. All box files, top and bottom, must have 20 mm of bleed on each side. This includes 3 mm of standard bleed plus 17 mm of wrap margin that goes around the inside of the box to create a clean, smooth edge. 2.1.3. Box markings. There are 4 LongPack lot number options of which to choose from. A, B, C, or D. Made in China. The country of origin is required for customs. LongPack's factories are located in China. Recommended age range. Add a recommended age range to your box. This will determine if your game is considered a toy. UPC/EAN 13 barcode. We strongly recommend you use a UPC/EAN 13 once your game hits the distribution chain. A UPC/EAN 13 will make handling the game much easier for all parties involved. Importer name and address. If the publisher country of origin is different from the destination country of the game, the importer's address should be displayed. For Kickstarter projects, please consult with your fulfillment service provider. Publisher name and address. This is mandatory. Manufacturer name and address. This is mandatory. Production batch number. The lot number is required to identify a production run in the unlikely event a product needs to be recalled. LongPack will automatically put a small lot number and LongPack icon next to the UPC/EN13. You can choose from one of the 4 options shown in the image to the left. The lot number is the PINV number on our pro forma invoice. Please note, there is no need for your input as LongPack will add this number. Note, please inform your project manager if you have your own lot numbers. 2.1.4. Safety markings. Limitations. The following relevant toy regulations, EN71, ASTM F963, etc., reference for safety markings may change as regulations are updated. Completeness. Only regular labels are listed below, not all labels are included. Authority. This is based only on the previous production experience of LongPack. As a publisher, you are obliged to consult with your test lab to secure accurate information in terms of effectiveness, completeness, and authority. Market definition of a toy. Any product designed or intended whether or not exclusively for use in play by children under 14 years of age. Any object designed, manufactured, or marketed as a plaything for children under 14 of age. A. European Union EN71. A-1 CE marking. The CE logo certifies that the content of the game matches the EN71 standards. This logo should appear in black or white and with a minimum height of 5 mm. Its shape must not be altered in any way. A2. Warning markers of age under 3 years. EN71 warning, age range symbol must appear with a minimum height of 10 mm. A3 hazard. The text must indicate what kind of hazard is present in the game. The manufacturers shall provide appropriate information about the hazards through the examples mentioned below or through other sentences that achieve the same result. Examples. Warning, not suitable for children under 36 months, small parts. Warning, not suitable for children under 36 months, long cord, strangulation hazard. B. USA, ASTM F963. B1 warning information. The warning type size differs in accordance with the size of the main display. B2. Information of warning marks of small parts. According to the American Toy Safety Standard ASTM F96317, parts that can fit in the container below are regarded as small parts, and warnings will need to be added. The definition of small parts and the age range for which warnings need to be added may change as the standard version is updated. Please consult your laboratory for details. B3. Regular warning markings listed as follows. The safety markings should be added at the main display side of the box with spot color as background. Please contact your project manager in LongPack Games for more detailed information regarding warning symbols. Checklist box. General pre-press check. Standardized file naming. All files submitted as PDFs. All files in CMYK color format. Images at a resolution of 300 ppi or above. All files have 3mm bleed and at least 3mm margin. Black text should be pure black, C0, M0, Y0, K 100%. Font embedded into PDF files. Key checking points for boxes. The box needs to be large enough to contain all the components together. 3mm bleed plus 17mm wrap. Box markings. 2.2. Tuck box and foil packs. If your game consists of only cards, or if you need a smaller box within the main game box to hold pieces or components, the best container may be lighter, one-piece tuck box. 2.2.1. Bleed and margin. All tuck box files must have 3mm of bleed and 3mm of margin, safety line. For something even smaller, like a booster pack, foil can be your best option. A foil pack can be standalone packaging for retail purchasing, or hold cards to be revealed during a legacy game. 2.2.2. Box markings. Please refer to 2.1.3. 2.2.3. Safety markings. Please refer to 2.1.4. Checklist. Tuck box. General pre-press check. Standardized file naming. All files submitted as PDFs. All files in CMYK color format. Images at a resolution of 300 ppi or above. All files have 3mm bleed and at least 3mm margin. Black text should be pure black, C0, M0, Y0, K 100%. Font embedded into PDF files. Key checking points for boxes. Can components fit into the tuck box? Box markings, safety markings. 2.3. Game board. Your game board is the centerpiece of the tabletop gaming experience. Though laying out a flat board may seem simple, it can be troublesome if the margins and bleeds are not set properly. 2.3.1. Bleed. As with the game box, the board requires 20mm of total bleed to wrap around the edges. This covers and protects the edges of the game board, which in turn extends its life. Wrapped around front side. For folding the edges, we need a file about 20mm larger than the ready size of the board. 2.3.2. Double-sided printing game board. Printing a custom back for your game board adds minimal cost and brings an enormous opportunity. If you are designing a double-sided game board, the reverse side needs to be 3mm smaller than the front on all four sides. This is because the back sheet is mounted on top of the edges wrapped from the front side of the game board. Remember to add a standard 3mm bleed to backside file. E.g., if your game board is 200mm by 400mm, then the trim size for the back would be 194mm by 394mm. After adding 3mm bleed, the final file size for the back would be 200mm by 400mm. 2.3.3. Examples of size of front side and back side. 2.3.4. Maximum size. If you require a large game board, please note that the current maximum size for LongPack manufactured game boards is 680mm by 950mm. For playing surfaces larger than 680mm by 950mm, please consider using two game boards placed side by side. If you need a larger board, ask your project manager about a light box cloth, flex banner PVC composite cloth, or a vinyl game board. Checklist game board. General pre-press check. Standardized file naming. All files submitted as PDFs. All files in CMYK color format. Images at a resolution of 300 ppi or above. All files have 3mm bleed and at least 3mm margin. Black text should be pure black. Font embedded into PDF file. Key checking points for boxes. Avoid text appearing at the fold line. Front side needs 3mm bleed plus 17mm wrap. If you are designing a double-sided game board, the reverse side needs to be 3mm smaller than the front of all 4 sides. Don't forget to add 3mm for the file size. Maximum size 680mm by 950mm. 2.4 Player Card Board. Single layer. In addition to the main folded game board, sometimes a game may require smaller boards. These may be used for individual player boards, token storage areas, scoring boards, etc. These non-folded boards are known as cardboard mats, and they do not have wrapped edges. If your game requires a cardboard mat, designing for the squared corners will be the most efficient. Special shapes will require a die-cut mold, which will incur additional costs. 2.4.1 Bleed and margins. All cardboard mat files must have a 3mm of bleed and a 3mm of margin.